Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Berkay and this is my first video on the YouTube. So I'm gonna speak about the markets today and then we will go on. So let's get to it. I'm gonna start with the S&P 500 firstly. Sorry, my back is a little bit hurts. So let's get to it. Sorry. Uh, Earlier this week, the S&P 500 closed at the all-time high on the Thursday, as you can see at the daily. Yeah, you can see over there. And the very next day on Friday, we saw a pullback. And honestly, this is a kind of a short-term behavior. It's completely normal. Markets do this all the time. Short-term moves are noisy, emotional, and extremely difficult to predict. That's why I don't spend much time trying to forecast daily and weekly fluctuations. The real focus, in my view, should be always be a long-term, like this weekly chart. And then we look at the indicators like S&P, Nasdaq, and the Dow Jones. From that perspective, the conversation becomes much clearer. Even people who are very skeptical about artificial intelligence seems to be agree on one thing: the AI has a sorry, the AI has a potential to permanently change the economy, not temporarily, permanently. Of course, there is always be a descending voices. There will be corrections, pullbacks, and the moments there will narrative is challenged, but the part of the process. But broadly speaking, it feels like the world changed itself, changing structurally, not cyclically. I didn't say the pronunciations. I'm sorry, cyclically. And I will be surprised if the 10 years from now we look at the back at this period at this time to 2025, and uh, it has shifted. You know, when we look at the 10 years ago, I see a very different world from 2015, and then there's a AI in our world now, and maybe we will look at the period and then say this was one of the moments that when everything quietly shifted. There's a line from Stephen King's The Dark Tower series that often comes to mind. The gunslinger, Roland, here's the world. The world has moved on. And I think that the phrase captures what we are seeing today, not just in markets but in the global economy as a whole. Because of that, I don't believe this period resembles that the dot-com bubble of the early 2000s. One major difference lies in how initial public offerings looked back then compared to today. During the dot-com era, as you know, maybe not know, many companies went public while little substance, no real revenues, no proven business models, yet they were assigned an extremely high valuation in some cases. IPO prices would rise 10 or 20 times within just a few months. That kind of a behavior that was a clear sign of speculative excess. Today, this situation looks very different. Some of the most valuable technology companies, such as SpaceX and rather still and are still in private, with valuation discussed in the private markets rather than rush to the public offerings. More importantly, there are not hollow companies. They are building a real technology with a real economic impact. The valuations may be high, but they are not detached from the fundamentals in the same way we saw during the dot-com era. That's why I see this cycle as much more structural than speculative. Yeah, that's my opinion about the S&P 500. Uh, yeah, yeah, in the daily, it might be go down to 6,700 maybe for the correction. But in the long era, I think it will be go to the 704,000 and then 9,000, because in this stock markets, if a price have to go down with a bubble bursts or something like that, everybody says, I just talk about it, but everybody says there's an AI bubble in the stock market. Yes, that's true, but I don't believe it will be exploded immediately, because there are still people who are already going to say there's a bubble, there's a people out of there scared of that bubble. So not everybody included in the stock market right now. I believe uh, when the prices go up in the time, maybe in 2026, in the middle June, July, maybe August, it will be go to the 9,000 era, I think. But it's a really, uh, I know it's a really big guess, but when it goes there, everybody wants to buy it. Everybody will buy it. Like, remember the back in the 2021 Bitcoin? So when everybody goes to buy it, there is no more people going to left to buy the S&P 500. So it will be go to the correction, but not right now. I don't believe the stocks is gonna change, decrease in the long run for the 1 year. I believe because the stock, when buying a stock, you should be remain as uh, 1 year. I believe that's my opinion, and most people believe it. So I think we are not in the euphoria period right now. After the euphoria, we will reach the 9,000, and then it will burst if it gonna burst. But maybe it won't gonna burst. So I'm gonna continue with the Bitcoin. Um, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. Okay. When it comes to the crypto, the Bitcoin specific, the technical structure is also important right now. At the weekly, we can say this. Where is my Ichimoku indicator? Ichimoku cloud. Yes. You can see it bounces from the Ichimoku. From that level, we see reaction higher. However, I want to be clear. I'm not automatically bullish just because price bounced for me. Bitcoin becomes more interesting only if it can be move about the $94,000 this side. If it goes further than this, that zone will act as a confirmation that the market is transaction direct to the more construction pace. I wanna say if it goes to this place, maybe it will go bounce to the 9,900 period, and then maybe it go back to the and surges in the Ichimoku cloud, but it will stay in this line and maybe go breakthrough. I think we are at the end of the losses on the Bitcoin. So my opinion is to hold your Bitcoin. If you have Bitcoins, hold your Bitcoin. If you don't have Bitcoins, just wait for the buy Bitcoin after the $94,000. And then if I have to talk about XRP and Ethereum and XRP always follows the Bitcoin. So when you gonna buy these things, you should have to look at Bitcoin first, because Bitcoin is a locomotive. When the locomotive starts to go first, the first locomotive starts to go further, and then the second cargo holding goes further. Which is it? It is a Ethereum. And the third one, XRP. They're always going the same, just like gold and silver. So I think if you're gonna buy Ethereum and XRP, just wait for the Bitcoin to go up. That's my thing. And there's all my coin. I love this coin. XMR also opens from here. What's this? Mac? Oh, okay. When I look at the weekly chart of the XMR Monero, it seems doing a very bullish pattern, like the gold. Just don't forget this one. Don't forget this pattern. Monero, maybe if it breaks this line, if I have to get the point, the Monero has a really good, I think, buying opportunity if it crosses like 500 100 era zone. If it reaches its all-time high, I think the Monero has a buying opportunity because its pattern is a really good shape right now, and I think it will be break it because it comes from this side in 2017, and then it comes to the 2021 and 2025, and then 2025 again in September and June. It seems really bullish right now. Just look at this, don't forget this pattern, and look at the gold over here. Look at the gold. It's gold really rushes really high right now, right? But look at the technical view of the gold back in the time. It 2011 to the 2020, it's remained like this sign. I don't know what this is called in English, but it made this sign. It made this one. After it broke it, maybe we can add this like this side because of the inflation and other stuff, but of course it's because of the inflation. And then when it broke it, it went really high, like 120%, 110% in almost 2 years. I think it's a good one for the, it's a gold, man. It's a gold and it gives you like 110 points. It's a really good. When you think about the crypto, so think about it yourself. By the way, if I have to speak with the gold, it's not a good way to buy opportunity right now because it's really did back gold down. It broke this pattern over here, and then the gold is broke its weekly resistance over that time, like 10 years resistance, and then it started to go up, going up for the March, started from March, February, and then going up, broke the Fibonacci levels, retested and broke it, retest, and then it stayed in the balance for like 5 months, 4 months, and then it broke it and it gone really fast. So I'm not too greedy about the gold because everybody is right now greedy about the gold. So I'm not I'm scared of gold right now because it went up really fast, and it how can I say, it bounced from its all-time high. There's a resistance level over there, but I know there's a big loss in the Friday, but gold stay in the positive line. That's a good one, but I don't prefer you to buy it right now. If it passes to like 4020 price, maybe you should open an alarm over there and you can buy it as it seems, but I don't know, that's my opinion, of course. The silver also went up really fast, and I was watching the silver back in the days. In like 6 weeks, when the US market opens, in the first period of US market opens, there's always some or someone's are buying silver. I was noticed that, and then silver always go up and up and up and up when the stock market opened, and went to this way, but it opened up in the opening price, but in the Friday we saw a really big sell over there. Like, look at this, dark, bam, they sold, and then they sold and they sold again. I think this is the same company or someone's are the someone who sold it. Back in the days, I saw a news about the JPMorgan. The JPMorgan news said that they closed their short positions about the silver, and they bought a silver instead of shorting their positions, close their shorting of positions, and then they bought silver. Well, I couldn't verify that news. I think it comes from India, as I can find it, and I don't know. Maybe it's operational for the people who gonna buy it from the top, and then the company is gonna sell from the top of it. I think you have to stay away from the silver for a little bit time, because there's a heavy sell over here. As you can see, they sold. Maybe JPMorgan itself, they sold and they sold and they sold. I don't know. I'm just thinking, by the way. So I don't prefer you to buy silver right now. Maybe you should wait. But I can see this. The platinum is went really good time, really good, and as you can see, the platinum is always I have the works over there in the back in the time, always stayed in the same time, same price level back in 2005, 2015, 17, 18, 19, 20, and always stayed in the same period, and then platinum goes to up, and I bought it from back in times, and I when I comes to this Nadare Watson's envelope out of the Nadare Watson, I sold it, but my perspective is changed over the period because of the gold and the silver are really rushed in the back in the days, and the platinum is way back to its normal days, before gonna the platinum is not on the platinum is didn't reach the gold and silver's increasing price increase, so I think the platinum is gonna go up, like maybe, yeah, this seems cool, maybe 2015, I believe, because the gold and silver had a really good increase in the markets, but the platinum didn't. So I was looking at the platinum. Maybe it's a buying opportunity. So thank you again for watching me. Thank you. Bye bye.